Welcome to Snakes and Otters, a pointless discussion of eternal questions. Get ready. We're about to live in your head rent-free. Hello, Otterites. This is episode 175.
I am Martin.
And I'm Robert.
And I'm Francis.
All right, gentlemen. It is Hoopajoob!
Hoopajoob!
Oh,
yeah.
We are on the 5th Friday, which is dropping on my man Francis's birthday.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Happy birthday, happy
That's
birthday.
right, that's right.
It is the big 5-7.
You are correct. That is
So
right.
he is the Heinz
same amount of
57.
time that Ripley was adrift in space.
Yes. So
Yes, if
for
you
as
listen
long
to
as
our
you have been
last
alive,
episode,
that
right.
is the same amount of time, yes. You are the Heinz 57 of this group.
I'll take that. Yes, I like Heinz 57.
Yes,
Very
yes. So this month we are going to talk about bourbon. Now, listeners are probably saying, when do they not talk about bourbon?
good. Well, that's right.
Which is a fair point. It's a fair point.
Fair point. But this is,
But-
we've done
But
10
waxed eloquent.
minutes or so here or there. Let's do a whole
Right.
episode.
So we want to, I think it's probably do a little bit of a recap of some of the things we've done lately.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, shout out to old favorites here and there if we want. But just kind of a condensed version of some things we've discovered, come to like. Because, the last several months we have really branched out with what we've been drinking.
We've been buying more in different brands. Yeah.
I mean, Marty here, he's got more than one bottle of bourbon on his counter.
No, come on. That's not fair.
All right. He's got more than 2 bottles of bourbon on his counter.
4.
Right.
4.
But
I would I'd
you
have
rarely
4.
have had more than 2.
No, I usually have 3 or 4. But that's
Now,
about
he
it.
must hide the other 2.
well, he only gives us the stuff, not the good stuff.
If you want to leave it all out, there's actually...
Well, hey, that Michter's, he paid a pretty penny for that.
This is true. Yeah,
that
it
is-
was $42, yeah.
Oh, you got it on sale because I've seen it higher. I've seen it
Yeah, it's
closer to
usually
50.
48, yeah.
Yeah.
48, 49.
And that Michter's is good stuff.
But yeah, I was, 3-4 bottles, but again, the idea of Bjorn working at a liquor store,
has been a great boon to you.
yes, he's bringing stuff home because he's an explorer. He has
And he
to
gets a
try
discount.
things.
Does it?
I think a small one.
Discount is a discount. Yeah.
But he wants to try things, and he doesn't want to finish one before he starts another.
Oh, gee, where have we heard that one before?
So, it's like, dude, don't bring home another bottle. You have 4 over here you haven't even,
Right.
made
Now-
a snoot out of yet.
Now, I will say, I tend to have more bottles on hand than you guys have. Although for a while there, I was down pretty low. I was down like my last 3 or 4, and then not July, but April when we recorded. I think it was when we had tried to finish off several bottles for.
Yes.
We did, yes.
Yeah, because I
Yes.
was getting real low on those, and I needed an excuse to go out and buy more.
Yes,
so
yes.
we did that. But yeah, so but I like the variety because now that we've done more of these, and I have had more bourbons, and come to realize, because even when I was going over to the rectory, I was mainly drinking the double oaked.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, would try something else, but I've tasted far more since we started doing this show than I ever had over at the rectory.
Yeah.
Far more. So I have a lot of new favorites, things I like, and I have a range of things. Like I've got a couple of low end ones to a little bit higher end ones, and I buy what I like generally, but I do like to buy every once in a while a new bottle of something to try out. And that's kind of what the whole bourbon break has been about.
Yeah.
Is to try out some new bourbons.
Right. I mean, I was in that kind of that groove of buying Larceny for a while.
Yeah,
and a couple others.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, let's try to really branch and do something different.
Absolutely.
And since we've done our last bourbon episode, there's been a pretty significant revelation for us.
Yes. Yes.
Francis is a neat man. Robert and I are generally ice. Robert was pretty steadfast about the metal balls,
Yes, I do like the metal balls. Yes.
or the soapstones.
Yeah.
But we've discovered, and I didn't even get the soapstones out this time.
Right.
Yeah, because we just,
There's no point. Well, I mean, we could, but then we just still have to add water.
Yeah. So we went straight to basically everything we poured has been with ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what we're finding is that this, obviously ice dilutes and mellows, but we're also finding that flavors tend to bloom.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're
it's-
really bringing things out.
Yes, it's
In ways that
preferred.
we had not, because we had all pretty much stuck to our preferred method. And, Martin, you had gone back and forth on a couple of different, you would do
Yeah.
sometimes neat.
Yes.
But I was pretty consistent with some kind of chilling device.
Yes.
And if it wasn't ice, I wouldn't get that melting bit to get the water in there, because it's really that cold water that brings out that bloom.
Yeah.
And we discovered this. Listeners, we've told the story before, but since this is Hoopajoob, we'll tell it again. It's that whole Jim Beam Black experiment that we did, where Martin and I both had it at my place on the same episode, and I had mine with the ice, and Martin had it neat, and we had totally opposite reactions.
Yeah, that's what did it. It wasn't
Yes.
different. It wasn't just different.
It was
opposite.
opposite.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we switched, and we agreed with each other's prior opinions.
Yeah, and that's when we realized things are different that way,
Yeah.
and they may be intentionally that
Yes,
way.
Yes,
and I
that-
think we realized that before, because we talked about
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
that the master distillers and the blenders may be aiming the flavors here.
Yeah,
to
that's what
have
really hit home.
with ice and water.
Yeah, and especially the higher proof bourbons are probably the best ones that are indicative of that, because those are generally meant to be diluted somewhat.
Yeah.
Because nobody thinks you should be going out and drinking 120 proof bourbon all the time. You should probably dilute that just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except with soft drinks, it's water, ice and water. That's all you should dilute
So-
the bourbon with.
That's right.
So that's our kind of our two big things is we're trying to push ourselves, throw some ice in, which is different for Francis.
Well, I've fully come on board with it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll go back to neat again.
Well, I have when I do the bourbons, I like to take a sip immediately, try and get a kind of a baseline. It's still gonna be a little chilled, because by the time you put the ice in and take a drink, there's not that much in there, so it's gonna get a little bit of a chill to it. But it's still mostly straight, and it gives me a baseline to see. Well, all right, is this normally kind of medicinal? Because a lot of times these bourbons that are better with ice are kind of medicinal without it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the kiss of death. We don't
Yeah.
want that. Yeah.
That's like that Trader Joe. Trader Joe's is the only bourbon that we've come across is like, no, don't drink it ever,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's bad whether you have it on ice or not.
Yeah,
and that
it
was
makes no difference.
universally panned at Retreat
That's right.
a couple of months ago.
Yes. Now that's one I've not tried, but
And
I'll definitely defer to your
don't.
belief on it.
Absolutely
we
not.
we panned one of Francis's though,
The Jefferson.
the Jeffersons.
none of us liked
which
it.
is a very high end
Yeah.
deal, and for some reason, I'm not sure which variation you had. I don't recall.
I do not. It wasn't anything
Because
special.
there's-
It was just a regular one.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 different Jeffersons.
Yeah, there's the Oceans, the one
It
done on
wasn't
aged
that-
on the ocean.
It was not that one. I know that.
The regular Jeffersons, the Jeffersons Reserve.
No, I think it was the regular Jeffersons.
yeah.
for sure.
and
yeah, we just did not care for
it
that.
was like,
Yeah, and that, I don't know if that was just a bad batch or what, because that was just very unexpected.
yeah. And I think the other thing that we're realizing here too is, and we've mentioned this, I think, as well, that you don't have to lay out big bucks
Right.
to get good bourbon. Now, certainly if you want to lay out for Blanton's, and I've not had an opportunity to try Blanton's or Pappy's, go for it. We're not going to tell you not to do that.
Right. But
But-
but dollar for dollar, that's maybe not the best value.
Yeah.
It's more of a status thing.
Yeah,
I mean, they're really good, don't get
yeah,
me wrong.
I mean, again, the Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor, I've tried those. They're good. But if you are new to bourbon and you want a good flavor, don't be embarrassed to walk in and grab a $20 bottle of Wild Turkey
That's right.
or
or-
Four Roses.
or Four Roses
Or Basil Hayden for
Henry
$30.
McKenna.
McKenna's fine. Yes, absolutely.
Basil has gone up a little bit.
You're more $35 there.
Yeah, it's 35 to 38, depending on where you're getting it.
Yeah.
So they have finally increased the price. 30 years later, the price has started to creep
Yeah.
up, because it's been in that $30 range
yeah, for a long
for
time.
30 years.
Yeah.
Which is
Which is
redesigned
amazing.
the bottle too, which actually
Yes.
it's a big improvement. I like it. I think it's
I like it, but I kind of miss that paper.
the duct tape. It seems like
I don't know. It was so unique.
yeah,
I mean, it's a great looking bottle still.
yeah.
I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about the way that paper was draped over the neck.
Yeah,
that I really
I'm
like.
not sure about the giant size cork now.
Yeah,
It's
that's
considerably
okay.
larger, but
yeah.
Uh,
But it goes back to my theory, which I've not had it yet proven false, but when they spend some money on the bottle, they've generally got some good bourbon in the bottle.
There's some truth to that.
Yeah.
There's some. They
So, I mean-
recognize that you got to be enticed to spend more.
Yes.
And it's got to look it.
And if you
Or-
do entice them to spend more with that special bottle,
Yeah.
you better follow
You better
through.
deliver.
Well, yeah, that's right. You got to
You better
deliver.
deliver.
Yeah.
Because that gets you once.
Yeah.
Yes.
That gets you the
But,
first.
So a
purchase.
square bottle, the metal ring around it, like the basil, whatever. That,
The Green River shaped like a horseshoe.
Yes.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
But-
and Green River delivers.
Yeah, we-
I thought
we-
a lot
we
of-
were very,
it was good,
yeah.
good deal. But it's more of a $30. But
Yeah.
again, don't let anybody talk you out of a $15 bottle of Evan Williams.
right.
It's good stuff too.
Sure,
Right.
absolutely. But $12 Old Granddad or Very Old Barton are fine
right.
bourbons.
That Heaven Hill bottled and bond
That's right.
that I picked up for $12. That's a fine bourbon.
That's right.
So,
I mean, is it as good as a double oaked or the wild turkey or the old? No, but it's still good.
But
bourbon.
you can spend money and be disappointed.
Yes.
And not spend money and get something really good.
Yeah, I think the one that really opened our eyes to that was that first $20 bottle of Four Roses
Yeah.
that we got. Matter of fact, it's when we were recording at Meinrad is where we did, because that's where we got Larceny and something else for the first time. I forget what that was, but I know Larceny and Four Roses we tried there the first time. Because I remember we were at the Kroger in Corridon and we picked them up. So you don't have to go to a liquor store to find a good bottle, or even a surprisingly,
Yeah. And again, we can't say enough about Wild Turkey.
Oh yeah.
Francis introduced us to that one.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, we'd all heard of that one, obviously.
Sure,
That's a
we
common
knew
name.
about it, and it's
been
an
around
old brand.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the Wild Turkey regular straight brand, just straight.
Yeah,
There's
not even
also
the 101.
The 101, which I have an unopened bottle at my house for next month.
Oh, excellent!
For that,
I can't wait.
Isn't
Wild
that-
Turkey and Wild Turkey 101 are two different.
Right, no, I know that. But I thought the 101 was the one I had at my place last month.
I didn't think so, but maybe so. Maybe so.
I mean, it's a great bourbon, too.
Mike,
So-
I didn't realize. I don't remember you having Wild Turkey.
Yeah, because it goes by two different things. There's the signature,
Yeah.
but that's what it is. It's Wild Turkey like 101 with the signature on it
Yeah.
of the founder or the current head, which is like
Master-
grandson of the founder.
Master Distillery.
Yeah, Master Distiller. But yeah, if you want to check it, there's probably a signature on it, and it's probably the same bourbon.
Oh,
So-
perhaps so. That's
Yeah,
very
so it's called signature by a lot of people, but it doesn't say signature anywhere on the bottle.
right.
That's one of the other things you got to watch out. You might go looking for something, can't find it, and actually it's called something else by the distiller, but everybody else calls it this.
Yeah.
So there were a couple others that Francis had though too that I want to bring up.
Yes.
That we loved. It was really good stuff. And again, they're craft, but of a brand that's been out there forever. Is the Old Forester.
Correct.
Oh,
Yes.
it was Old Forester signature. That's what it was.
That's what you had. That's right.
Yes.
I remember that now. Because
Yes.
I have two of them at home, the 1897 and the 1910.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm old. I'm getting old. My brain can't keep this stuff straight
Oh,
anymore.
that's right. Yes, because you had another one of the Old Foresters,
Yes.
not the Wild Turkey.
That's
Yes.
what it was.
That's right.
Okay,
Yes.
so we have not tried Wild Turkey 101, but we
Correct.
will next time we're
Yes,
recording at Francis.
Right, but we love the
regular
base
Wild
wild
Turkey.
turkey we
Yes,
had. 'Cause
exactly.
We raved over that.
In
Yeah.
fact, I had to replenish that bottle because it seems my 21-year-old son likes it too.
Yeah, you need to get a lock,
Yeah,
like a real lock.
something like that.
Or get him a job at a liquor store like Bjorn.
Yeah, and let him start bringing it home for Dad. That would be nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's great. But I still have the 1897 and the 1910 Prohibition style. That bad boy's 110 proof, though. It knocked my sinuses for a loop when we had it.
But it was
but
I thought
had
the
it
one
neat.
that had the most flavor.
Yeah, it did. It did, and I
And
should have
loved
had it over
I
ice.
loved it.
I
The
didn't.
Prohibition.
And there are two others of those line extensions with the year,
Yeah.
which I don't have yet. But
So you had the 1910.
and 1897.
Okay.
No, 1920. Excuse me,
Right.
1920.
Yes, I was gonna say 1897. I know there is one because I saw that when I was looking for
Yeah.
the signature.
Right, and it's
For
the
the-
1920s
from the old
prohibition
Forester.
because that's prohibition,
Right.
So it's definitely it's meant to be.
Yeah, we
higher
thought
kick.
the 1897 had nice big flavor, good,
Yeah.
but not as complex as the Prohibition style.
That's right. But Prohibition style, it kicks you in the head. It's just got, because the other one is like 90 proof, and this one here's 110 proof.
Yeah, and 90's a little bit higher than normal, but not by much.
Right. Yeah. It was just, you can tell the difference between that and 110.
Yeah.
Because we were
like
kind of going back and forth between the two of them.
The old Granddad 114. You can tell the difference between that and an 80 proof bottle of anything.
Absolutely, that's correct. And it was.
But I really, that Prohibition style, I really thought had this huge complexity of flavor with all these great notes in it.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Yeah, it was one of the very, very best that we've had out there. And
it's not. I mean, it's not a $20 bottle.
It's $30.
But it's not like a $70 bottle.
No, it's very reasonable.
Right. I mean, Angel's Envy is one of those ones that I really like, but it's often a $70 bottle of bourbon. Honestly, as much as I like it, I'm not going to buy one.
That if you catch it on sale for a treat, maybe. And I'll tell you all this.
You need to buy it every once in a while because Mrs. Francis likes it.
That she does. That's correct. And there's been this.
And we shall spare no expense to keep Mrs. Francis happy.
Right, because there's like 3 teaspoons in the bottle that's still at our house because no one has the courage to touch it to drink the last bit of it until she finishes it. That's going to stay there.
Yes.
Although I think she's had some folks over while we've been gone, so that may have gone its own way. I actually had to bring down some of my stash for her, which that's.
But here's the plus side of that is Mrs. Francis has excellent taste.
She does. That is correct.
Yes.
Very much so. Well, and what kind of stunned me is I bought a bottle, and you guys remember this, of the old Bardstown Bottle and Bond. We never did crack it. Well, I went up just literally this morning to see what was up there, and about 5/6 of it is gone.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? It seems like my dear son has decided he likes old Bardstown because
Or maybe it was just handy.
Maybe. Well, I mean, I've got them all up there, and they're on the second floor in my office, which is just across the hall from his bedroom, and down the hall
from Ellis.
Yeah, it's right down the hall from his game room. So when he has his buddies over, I guess they're drinking my bourbon. But fortunately, he had, because that's where the Wild Turkey's almost gone, the old Bardstown is almost gone. And
I'm telling you, Francis, you are far more lenient than I would be.
Yeah, well, I'm asking.
I would.
Yeah, well,
I mean, yeah. Oh, hey, invite all your friends over and let them drink all of my bourbon. I don't think so.
No.
Well, fortunately, they have not touched my 2 old Foresters, which that would have gotten me in fighting mad because those. You
may have to start putting your good stuff. I mean,
I don't want to do
in your closet or something.
Maybe. I mean, well, I will if I get if I get my wish, and I'm going to do this before the end of the year. And I promise you guys will be there when I crack it. But I was out at a liquor store not long ago, and it was the big ones. It's where Bjorn works, actually. And one of the things that caught my eye was a bottle of bourbon whiskey called Waddy Boone and Sons.
Oh.
$109 a bottle, folks.
Holy crap.
Well, Waddy Boone is my great-great-great-great-grandfather on my mother's side. And his sons, that's where he's the ancestor who came down from Maryland, and all the Boones here locally are descend from him. So that's my family too. Like Basil Hayden is on my father's side, Waddy Boone is on my mother's side.
It is so cool that one of us has not just one, but 2 family bourbons.
That's right. So that's going to be on the list at some point. I'm going to pay that $109 just at least once.
Yeah.
And you guys get to crack that with me. So we'll have make that a special one at some point. I don't know when.
That from yes.
That one gets hidden. That's correct. Nobody gets to touch that stuff there. I'll lock that one up.
Yeah,
not the Prince and not Her Majesty.
Not Her Majesty.
No, I've had to be a little bit forgiving with Bjorn. He has a guest all the way from Iceland.
Yes.
Thor, we'll call him Thor, is visiting us from Iceland for 2 weeks. So if you can imagine a young man has anywhere in the world he wants to go, he's coming to America for the first time, and he's not going to see the Grand Canyon or the Empire State Building. He's going to come hang out with Bjorn in Louisville.
In Bourbon Country.
So, it's like, yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, you got to have, because he's of age, right?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost.
Okay. Close enough.
Almost.
Technically, doesn't the law just say that he can't buy it?
Well, there are some strictures about serving, of course.
But not in your home, though. Not in your home.
Yes, I mean, yeah.
But obviously, he's not driving. So.
Right. Yeah.
As long as you're at home.
But yeah, it's mostly public where you get in trouble.
Right.
With letting minors have alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah.
But certainly, that has always been a rule here. if you invite people to our home, we are generally not serving them, especially if they are minors.
Yes.
So
yes.
that is, that's the anti-'80s, I guess, because that was always the '80s thing. You have a party and the kids are sneaking in the booze,
Right.
but that's definitely not permitted in Martin's house.
Yeah. Well, none of us have kids that generally throw big bashes anyway.
That's right.
So
Yeah, it's never been an
yeah.
issue for us, even though apparently he has slid into some of that.
Yes. Well, I'm pretty sure that my eldest spawn has partaken of my bourbon when she was younger, well before she should have. Because
Yes.
I had one bottle, and I want to say it was double O, because you had given it to me, Francis.
Yeah.
In a plain bottle, because that's how you used to hide it from your, as you put it, your lush brothers-in-law.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because I didn't want to give him the good stuff.
Right. So this is way back in the day. And because this is when we were living at the old house.
Yeah.
And there was a mark on the bottle. I don't remember making the marks. I don't know if I did it or if Mrs. Robert did it, or even if you had done it before you gave me the bottle.
I did not, so no.
So one day I just happened to, because it sat on top of the refrigerator. One day I happened to go by, and just happened to look up at it, and it was considerably below that mark.
Oops. Yeah.
And which shows two faults. One, not just plain erasing the mark and redoing it. And
A little
two,
acetone take care of that. Yeah.
yeah. And two, not turning the bottle around so you couldn't see the mark to begin with. Because I never would have noticed it,
Yeah.
until after I poured another snort of it. So,
And then you would have marked,
I wouldn't have thought anything of
you
it.
just did it. That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. I'm pretty sure, because my eldest spawn, she and I will have a bourbon together. Although now she's got a new job, making pretty good coin. Both of my eldest and my middle spawns, they have new jobs.
Well, they should be able to buy you some bourbon.
Yes. Well, they did a couple of years ago. That's where I had those 3 small bottles.
Middle
That's right.
Spawn has left the job.
Well, she's still at the same law firm, but she's been promoted.
Ah, yes.
So she's making really good coin. I want to say she's making about what her mom is making.
How about that?
And she's only 25. And so she's doing real well. So also, in addition to that, I did mention earlier episodes, Mrs. Robert and I are now grandpa rents, as Middle Spawn says. She has adopted a little dog from one of the rescue places.
Middle Spawn owns a dog.
Yes. Yes, Martin just hates that.
That's right.
Yes. So Bosco is now an uncle. Has a nephew.
Oh, the pain.
And I saw it today. Cute little dog. He's adorable. He really is.
Sure. Yeah.
Very
a good
friendly. Turns out, I said earlier, he was very quiet. Well, apparently Middle Spawn went to get lunch. And when she came back, the dog was whining and yapping at the door.
Well, I wanted to see mommy.
Exactly.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean,
little separation
everything's-
anxiety,
well,
which
sure.
is to be expected.
Brand spanking new in a new environment. Yeah, it's going to take a little time.
Because, that dog has been her shadow. She
Yeah.
FaceTimed with me yesterday a couple of times, and that dog was right next to her the entire time.
Yeah. He's a
but
good boy.
He is. He's very sweet. He's very cute. Very soft fur.
Part beagle, part basset, we think.
Yes.
Kind of got this crazy long body and short legs.
Yep. At
But-
first I
but
thought it
not
was a
do-
doxy, but
but
it's not really a doxy.
Yeah, not doxy, though.
If there is, it's well hidden.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's you really get that
Yeah,
basset.
the head's very much beagle
That's
basset.
all beagle, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Bosco. Matter of fact, the first when I saw the picture of the dog online, I thought, is that Bosco? Where'd she get this? Oh, no, that's not Bosco. The markings are all wrong. But the head was so similar.
Right on.
Yeah.
That good hound dog head.
Yep. So when they meet, that should be interesting. Because, Bosco's not a real big fan of other dogs. Not that they fight. He just doesn't like energetic animals.
He's like, you're bothering me. I got to go take a nap.
Exactly. So, anyways, back to bourbon.
So we took a dog break in the middle
Yeah,
of
we
the
took a
bourbon
dog break
episode.
in the middle of the bourbon. Because, 2/3 of snakes and otters are dog people.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, as we both turn our head and look at Francis.
That's right. Yes, 2/3 are.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Mrs. Francis has an awesome dog. Little
Yes, yes.
Oliver.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Little
Of course,
Oliver.
Wilson and
Penny.
Penny is Martin's dogs. And of course, now, we've talked about Inara, because Inara has appeared on the show before.
That's correct.
But she sadly passed.
She did last year.
Yes, we
last
toasted
year.
Inara. She was a good girl.
She was
Well,
awesome.
she did not. She never barked. I mean, she never barked. It's
Yeah,
just not a
I mean,
thing.
I was fine with having her in the room when we recorded, but Francis was never really fond of that.
Well, no, it's just because just wasn't. That's right.
Yeah, well, Martin and I, we can sit and love on a dog and podcast at the same time. But, whatever. House rules. If the house says the dogs go, the dogs go. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Now, Wilson's so energetic, he would bark and he would interrupt us. And we would, but
He's still got a lot of puppy energy.
Yeah,
so.
he still wants to jump on you and hug you and kiss you.
And he's still very vocal.
Yeah.
Yep.
The great thing with him is, I just love it when I sit down on the couch upstairs and he sits across my lap. He's too big to really be a lap dog, but he still thinks he is.
Yeah, Bosco has that same thing.
So he sits across my lap, and he's great to just grab hold and give a big squeeze to.
Yeah, Bosco does a similar thing, only he won't do it when you're on the couch. He does it when you're on the floor. So if you sit on the floor, he will come over, turn around, and plop his butt in your lap. And then turn around and look at you like, when do you start rubbing my belly?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very needy animal, but,
Wilson makes me laugh when he'll hop on a couch or a chair and get on the arm of it.
Yes! Bosco did that when he was little.
And cross his legs, and it looks like he's like, "What's up?"
Yeah. I've got a picture of Bosco and a similar thing on the old green couch we had at the old house on Triangle. But yeah, it cracks me up how they will lay and sleep.
And just cross those front legs and just
we're putting
look
Francis
at
to sleep.
You are. You put me to sleep over here. That's all right.
All right,
you have
so
to put up with it. He puts up with stuff that you and I talk about. I put up with stuff that you two talk about. So
It's just a thing.
It's just what we do. We make allowances for our friends.
parish politics, dogs, bourbon, whatever.
Exactly.
We'll dive into everything.
We will. Usually
But
in the same episode.
I want Francis to expound on another particular bourbon that you had bought. Again, another one that is at a remarkably low price point that gets universally good reviews is that Henry McKenna.
It is. That's one that, Indiana has drank about half of that, too. That was gotten a lot lower than...
Does that boy have a problem?
I hope not. No. No.
I mean, because it sounds like he drinks a lot.
Well, I know he has a lot of friends over at times. And to be fair, I don't think I've looked at him since the last time we were over. That's 3 months ago, almost. So Henry McKenna is very reasonably priced. I mean, it's $25, I think, $29.
I thought it was less than that.
I think so. Yeah, no, that's 19. Yeah, and it is an excellent bourbon. It really is. It's especially.
I remember we tried that, but I don't remember my response to that.
Yeah, we used it last time we were at Studio F, and it was towards the end of the day, if I recall correctly. So that's why.
Yeah.
You drank it earlier. We drank it later.
But
And we'd already had the Old Forester, which I thought overwhelmed McKenna. But you had McKenna first, so you had a better experience of it.
And it was super good.
It was.
Again, not as complex, but a good mellow flavor.
Yeah. It's hard to beat that Old Forester, and it's hard to beat the Wild Turkey.
When we did the Wild Turkey, the Old Forester, and the Elijah Craig, the thing that I thought was similar about all three was not so much necessarily the particular flavors, but so much as the way they interacted in my mouth. There was, especially after we let the ice melt a bit and let those flavors bloom, as Martin puts it, it's a great word, bloom. It was almost like an explosion of flavor for each one of them.
Yes.
And, because it was unexpected, but I mean, it starts out... You take a drink, it's chilled liquid in your mouth, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you've got all this flavor all over your mouth. And I want to say all three of those are mouth bourbons. That's one of the things we've really discovered, too, is where the bourbon flavor hits you is different, depending on the bourbon.
Very much so, yeah. And I'm not a fan of the esophageal bourbons. I don't like
Too much like heartburn?
Yeah, too much like heartburn. I don't like that as much. But the ones that are mouth and chin and sinuses a little bit, those are the ones I kind of prefer.
Now, I'm not big for the sinuses. As long as it's not too harsh in the diaphragm and all. It's just warm.
Right.
That's good
I like
stuff.
the warm.
Yeah.
Angel's Envy is a good example of the best way to do the esophagus and stomach.
That's correct. Yeah,
Because it's one of those, it blooms late, and that's where it blooms, as opposed to in the mouth. I mean, you still get a flavor in the mouth, but that explosion of flavor, that burn,
clearly
that
that's
bite.
where your taste buds are.
Right. Well, some things can be very bland in certain places,
absolutely,
but the effect of that warmth, which they all have to a degree, is just happens in different places too, and the flavor. That's what I think one of the things that, in addition to the ice aspect, is that I find most fascinating about our experimentation over the last 3 years now.
Yeah,
3 years.
Yeah, I mean, when you think
Well,
about
more than 3 years, because we're in episode 175. That's 3.5 years worth of episodes.
That's right.
And when you think about how long we have been sampling, and we've stuck with just certain ones for so many years.
Yeah.
Since 1989 or whatever it is, to try all these new ones in this compacted time.
It's a great way to compare.
Really super. Yeah. It's
really, I love the ones that are the tongue, that are primarily on the tongue.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite. Which where we've been have a good run of. That's where we've been hitting mostly lately.
Yeah.
Some are back of the mouth, some are front, and as like you were both saying, sometimes you get into the sinuses, which depending on the bourbon can be good. It's not always good. It just depends, because
it's harsh. No, it's not.
Yeah.
But most of them are
your sinuses are very, very sensitive.
Sensitive, yeah. So when those compounds hit up in those, that can be like, ugh.
Yeah, because bourbon, like any whiskey, is going to be, we call it a bite or burn, but sharp is maybe a better word.
Yeah.
So, and where that hits will be different. But obviously the mouth is going to be where most of it is. But sometimes it's tongue, sometimes it's back of the mouth and the throat. That's fascinating to me.
So there's one other aspect of this too, especially in these last 2 years that we've been trying these, and that's that Robert and I have been trying to reduce our sugar intake.
Yes.
And trying to reduce our sweetness of drinks especially.
Drinks especially, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that has attributed some of these new experiences.
Yes.
For us.
I think I might have taken longer to get there than you did because, one, I still have sweet drinks. It's been less over time, but I still drink coffee instead of soft drinks. But I gave it soft drinks September 13th, I think was the date. You're right around there.
So you're almost at a year.
I'm almost at a year.
As we sit here, and by the time this episode comes out, you'll be at a year.
Exactly. Yeah. And now, technically, yes, I've had some soft drinks, but I don't count these as soft drinks in the same way. They're not Cokes, the dark. So I've had Verner's. Verner's is a ginger ale. It is from Michigan. If you're sick in Michigan, that's what you buy.
Yeah.
Knocks the illness out like that. I mean, there was a meme going around about what's in Michiganders or Michiganians, depending on your point of view. I like Michigander, in their medicine cabinet. And it was Verner's, and I forget something else, but the Verner's was the main thing.
Yeah.
And because, it's a...
I mean, down here is mostly Canada Dry.
Right, but Canada Dry to me is weaker.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Verner's is a much stronger flavor.
Yes.
I've had
So it is
Verner's.
a carbonated beverage, but to me it's not the same thing as a Coke. Now I did also, when we were in Michigan back in April, I had a diet Faygo cream soda. Because again, that's something else you can't get down here. It's a clear soft drink. So again, not the same kind of thing. So I kind of don't count those because one-offs and not going out and getting a big
I'm
Coke.
I'm not totally off soft drinks. I will have one every once in a while.
Right.
And I
went cold turkey on them.
Yeah, I do the real things. I don't usually do the diets at all.
And that's the other thing. I was on diets. Coke Zero is very much like a regular Coke. It's so.
But every once in a while I'll have a root beer. I like those. I'll have a ginger ale. I keep ginger ale. Sometimes mix. Get an inexpensive bourbon and make a bourbon and ginger. But generally, I've tried to cut out sweet soft drinks, especially because I just feel like they're so overwhelmingly sweet.
Yeah, and
that
I did some research on
just
that, and
don't-
there's something to that the sweetness changes the ability of your taste buds to taste other things, and because like I said, I still have coffee and I have caramel oat creamer.
Yeah.
In mine. And it's a fair amount, but I have like a 24-ounce cup here that I use for my coffee in the morning, and it's the only caffeine I have all day. So, it's probably 22 ounces
Yeah.
of coffee, and then ice and creamer right now, because it's summer. I'm not doing a hot coffee in the morning for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's my caffeine.
Yeah.
So, I did that so I wouldn't have caffeine headaches. But I drink water most of the rest of the time. Occasionally I'll drink some Crystal Light tea, which also has caffeine. But it's sweet, but not as sweet as soft drinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And other than like an ice cream or something, I don't really do a whole lot of other sweets. And I lately I have been noticing more flavors than I used to.
And we bring this up primarily to put Francis in a corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody puts Francis in a corner
Yes.
but us.
But us, yes. Well, he has admitted that he wouldn't mind being able to quit and do that, but it's hard to quit.
It is.
Oh, I mean, the soft drink manufacturers know what they've got.
Yes.
I mean, clearly they have a product that the vast majority of the world, not just the
not
U.S.
just the US,
populace,
yeah.
but the world loves and is nearly addicted to.
Well, Mrs. Robert, I call her. I joke with her, but I think she is. She has tried many times to cut back and to give up, and once those headaches kick in, which I'm not saying they're psychosomatic, that she's, but because caffeine headaches are a very real thing.
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes I think they kick in for her far sooner than I think they do for me than they have for me in the past.
Yeah, caffeine withdrawal is a real thing.
Yeah.
And so I still drink my black coffee, and I still love my unsweet tea and get my caffeine.
That's right, because you
that
like
way.
your coffee like your soul, black and bitter.
Black and bitter.
Yes.
So,
but yeah.
and Bjorn has started. He really likes dark roast coffee, so it's going to be kind of that strong, really, really strong flavor to it. So we're starting to get that and do that in the Keurig. So, but Francis. What about you, man? Can you cut back on the soft drinks?
I guess the really question is, does he want to?
That is exactly the question. I will say this: I have attempted. There is some wisdom. Maybe it is psychosomatic. Maybe it is old wives' tale. Maybe it's nothing to it. But the darker the soft drink, the better, the worse it is for you.
Yes, I think that is true. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So my intention is, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. You should be. The product Ale81.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The cherry Ale81 I really like.
So that sounds like that would be really sweet.
Well, they have a
almost syrupy.
sugar-free version of it, which I might go to.
See, and that's the question. The research is a little unclear as to whether it's the sweetness or the sugar.
Well, that's correct.
See, I'm not sure that'll get you anywhere. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, because I was doing diet for
you
years,
can see
and I
through
still didn't.
the bottle, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me.
I don't know that tends to be a caffeine thing, because
Perhaps.
generally the clear stuff doesn't have caffeine.
Well, that's kind of where I'm thinking so, because I've been drinking that for the past few days. I love it. It's much better and smaller. It's only 12 ounces versus 20. So I'm drinking less of it. And I
Have
got
you
a
had any
headache right
headaches?
now, I think, because I haven't had a cold.
Well, I may not have
last
any
few
caffeine.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had caffeine for several days. So I'm thinking, maybe this is a thing. So
If you can get past the first week or two of the headaches,
Yeah.
you're done. Or if you start drinking coffee every day, that'll take care of the headaches. Coffee is much easier to wean off than soft drinks.
Well, I'll have coffee on the weekends in the morning.
I mean, if you do it every day, though, it'll take care of your headaches.
Yeah, I won't. I don't usually do that, but
And that's what I've gotten used to that, because I used to go when I was working in the office, especially. I would go stop at Thornton's or later Circle K, because they've got this drink club. For $6, you can get any size drink once a day all month. It's a huge savings, huge, because you're talking $1.50 a pop times
Absolutely.
30, as opposed to $6. So the first week you've paid for yourself. Anyways, so I get the largest one I could with very little ice, and I would do that in the morning on the way into work and often on the way home. So that's that's like almost
I think now, if I had that much soft drink, I would be throwing up.
Well, I thought, and again, these are Coke Zeros generally. Occasionally, Diet Coke if they were out of Coke Zeros. I've thought about the occasionally the carbonation I miss because in my earlier attempts to give up soft drinks, the carbonation was often what I missed.
Yeah.
But that's not been an issue this last year.
Yeah, we have the Ale has a much lighter carbonation.
Yeah,
very
and
very small.
Now I tried the sparkling ice drinks.
Yeah,
which is like a lemonade.
And I'm
or whatever.
doing that too. I'm doing a sparkling water.
I got to the point where I couldn't
water.
drink those or a lemonade because it was giving me heartburn. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm back to either Crystal Light or water. And every once in a while I'll have a second coffee, but that's very rare, mainly because. My cold brew kit it gets me about a gallon that lasts me exactly 1 week. So I have a second coffee. I'm a day off on my schedule. So
there you go.
But it's the soft drink. The typical soft drink is a double whammy.
Yes,
it is. It is the addictive sugar and the addictive caffeine.
Yep.
But
it's not good for you in any way.
No, it's not. And again, the whole point of this discussion, when you talk about it in reference to bourbon, is we're goofing up our taste buds with this stuff.
Yes,
and that sweetness becomes so overpowering that we don't get flavors we should be getting that the distillers want us to get out of these bourbons.
Right,
and it's just you're just pissing the money away.
Exactly.
So,
and I have noticed over the last few months that I am picking up on flavors that I didn't used to pick up on.
Yeah, I mean everything tastes better to me. The farther away I get from always having soft drinks, everything tastes better. Mm-hmm. Everything does.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and for the sensualist and empiricist that Martin is, that's a good thing.
Very much so.
Yes. So David Hume is inspiring more consumption
of bourbon and just more consumption
of cheeseburgers and bourbon and all kinds of things. So
yes, so I don't know if we can really call it a bourbon break in the middle of our episode about bourbon, but let's talk about what we're drinking today.
Okay, so I poured just one little snort of something new here that I don't think we've talked about. It's Evan Williams Green Label, Evan Williams 101.
Oh. Okay.
So, good stuff.
I saw that. It's a bottled and bond one.
Yes, it's a bottled and bond one.
Generally, oddly enough, even though it has quality standards that it has to meet, those generally tend to be lower priced.
Yeah.
So how much was that one?
I think Evan Williams Green Label is like $18 a bottle.
Okay.
Whereas you can usually get regular Evan Williams at $15.
Oh, so actually a little higher.
Than
the regular Evan Williams. But like that Heaven Hill that I talked about earlier, that was $12.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising.
Most likely, while it's not, there's nothing wrong with it. I probably wouldn't get it again because I prefer regular Evan Williams to it.
Sure.
And not just because it's cheaper, but I think again at that price point, it's super hard to beat for that flavor. That really
reminds
good.
me. Francis, you left your bottle of double oaked at my house.
I was wondering what happened to that.
I have not finished it off.
Oh, okay.
So I need to get that to you. If nothing else, I'll bring it with me to your place next time.
That's right, yeah.
Because when we recorded at my place last time, Francis was very generous and brought his Woodford double oaked.
Right. That's
because I hadn't had it in my place in a while.
Well, because it was already cracked, it might not exist if I didn't leave it at your house.
That's true.
You have kept it safe for me.
I have. I have safeguarded your double oaked.
That's right. And now that the boy is back in class, it's safe for a while.
It might be, yes.
So when you bring it back again, we'll be great.
Yes.
So what did you have a little snort
of?
So
I poured the Green River again, and this time I actually paid attention to what I was drinking because last episode I had this, but I drank most of it while we were talking writing in the pre-show time, and I didn't really pay that much attention to what I was drinking because I was so into the talk about writing. Now, to me, that proves to me I am truly a writer. Mm-hmm. I was more interested in writing than the bourbon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a revelation.
Well, that's probably our next Hoopajoob is writing.
Yes, we talked about that because
Yeah.
I was as I was sitting here listening to us talk about it, I thought, oh man, this is good stuff. We should be doing this for Hoopajoob.
That's right, and not just once. We could probably get several out of that.
Yeah, I think so because I find it fascinating. So I figure if any one of us or multiple ones of us find something fascinating, other people will too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We do a good job with that.
Yes. So this Green River is pretty good. It's a mouth, but like the earlier ones that I had, where it would hit the front, this is a little bit farther back to me.
Yeah.
And I do feel that warmth
Jawline.
down into the stomach, so it's not as pronounced as some others that do that, but it's pretty good. Definitely the ice and the water to bring out the flavor is a good thing, because I did have that first taste for the baseline. It was okay, it's good,
Mm-hmm.
but so much better. So much more flavor, so fuller.
So, Francis, what did you just polish off there?
I'm back with CCR again, down on the Green River, down Muhlenberg County, as they say, and John Prine would say that anyway. But even though this was made in Owensboro, which is kind of like up the Green River as opposed to down it, but that's okay.
Cool.
I found it to be an excellent, smooth ride.
Yeah,
Not
very
as good.
smooth.
It's not as good as Wild Turkey. That's become one of my big standards these days.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still very good. It's very good. It was
There's
good
a
purchase
hint of
because-
sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Because you took a chance with that. You didn't know what you were getting.
Yes,
when you bought
again, the Green River has just been reintroduced.
it. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
one of these, an established distillery going back in the past, finding a brand that was discontinued, didn't exist anymore, and...
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the brand is the same mash formula either.
Right, exactly.
Now, some of those things are possibly lost to history.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, quite possibly.
Yes.
Almost probably, many of them are.
Right.
Yes.
So maybe something like the old tub apparently is not lost to history. When they brought
right.
that back, that was the original formula.
Right.
As I understand it, I could be wrong
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. But this been recently reintroduced, and when that was announced, I was able to go right out and get a bottle
Right.
as soon as it was announced.
That's the
And
one that has the horseshoe shape.
the horseshoe shape.
Yeah.
And so it sounds as if it was a worthwhile purchase. Because
And it was how
everybody-
much?
As I recall, it was more in the $30 range.
Okay, so I would expect a little higher end on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
Not terrible though.
Yeah.
Not,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not a
Um,
huge price, but
with that bottle, yes, I would expect that to be in a high, because generally that will also push the price up.
yeah.
But yeah, I also find that this, like the 114 earlier, or in prior episodes
Yeah.
for the listener, a little spicy. Not nearly as spicy as that,
Yeah.
but as the warmth spreads down into the esophagus, that spiciness is still hitting on the back of my tongue.
Good deal. Good deal.
So kind of that same peppery kind of a
Yeah.
thing,
So,
which is interesting. Which in the past I don't know I would have picked that up.
so not to steal the captain's thunder here, Francis,
Please go ahead.
but
I'm the captain, remember?
That's right. He's the
Oh,
captain.
you're the captain
That's
this
right.
time.
He was going to, but didn't want to, so
Okay.
I'm the captain this
I
time.
apologize, Robert.
That's quite all right.
We're hitting towards end time here.
Yeah.
So to wrap up, a couple of things. One, stop drinking soft drinks.
Yes.
Two,
It's good for you anyways.
Yes. Two, don't be afraid to buy an inexpensive bourbon
Exactly.
because again, Wild Turkey, Evan Williams, all these brands at $20, go for it. It's good
Especially,
stuff.
in my opinion, if you have a brand that has multiple price points that start at the $20 range, you're probably going to do well with that. If you have one where the high end is 20, well, maybe that's not be quite as good as the one that starts at 20.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But still, that Four Roses is a great example of that. That is a $20 bottle, the regular bottle. Now the small batch is still only like $26, $27,
Yeah.
and that's a really good bottle.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And then item number 3 is ice.
Yes.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's okay. If you like neat, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you
but
can do
try
that.
ice.
Yeah, I think you should always try each bourbon both ways.
That's fair.
You try
That's
it
really
neat
fair.
first,
Yeah.
and then you add the ice
Yeah.
if you don't if you think, oh, that's pretty good as is, I'll do the ice on the second glass. Sometimes just one sip isn't enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like, oh crap, let's get the ice now. But
And
Higher the
we've
proof,
only
the
come
more the
across
need for
a
the ice.
couple
Yes.
to avoid.
Yes.
Trader
Joe's.
Avoid Trader Joe's. There was one version of Jefferson's we don't want to do, but generally we found
The Reserve and the Ocean one are okay.
Yeah.
I don't think those are the ones.
I
that-
haven't tried them, so I can't say.
The Ocean has a little bit. It's an interesting, different taste because that aging on the Ocean does change the bourbon a bit. I don't know that I would go to that with all the other stuff that we've. It probably wouldn't be my first choice, or maybe even third or fourth.
There's so many others we
because there's so many others. Yes,
but yeah,
but it's a niche.
this branching out that we've done has been very fruitful.
Yes,
in trying these different ones, and again, brand new favorites like Wild Turkey
and the Old Forester, yeah,
and the Old Forester 1920,
or the Elijah Craig.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
And Elijah Craig's one of my old go-tos, so I'm glad that you guys like it as well.
Yeah, because I think it was the first time you and I had it, and we had it at my place last month, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Or if I had it before then, I just don't remember.
Yeah.
And some of these bourbons I probably had tried back in the day when I was young and stupid and did them as mixing bourbons.
Yeah.
So
Elijah Craig is one that started out at a really reasonable price point, but its popularity is kind of
that's kind of true for a lot of the bourbons.
Yeah,
the price has gone
Knob
up.
Creek same way.
Yeah.
Again,
That's another fine bourbon. Yeah. The 9 year is
which we don't have any of that currently. I think you get the.
I've got a little bit at home.
Yeah, but that's one that we need to.
It's one with.
Or maybe we did finish that one, or was it
nice
the maple?
Complex.
The maple. Good question. You got.
I think I have the
some.
maple still. Maybe it's the no. I think I have enough for one drink of the 9 year, and I haven't finished it off yet. I think that's what it is.
Well, you should do that so you can go buy more.
Yeah, you will. I think I can wait because I've got quite a few. Because I've got that Jim Beam double oaked,
Right.
Yeah.
which was an interesting, very mellow one that we tried. So that was interesting. Not terribly expensive. The Jim Beam Black, of course, is another fine because again, Jim Beam is not one I think of as for a go-to bourbon.
Right.
But Devil's Cut, the double oaked, and the black, they're doing some good stuff there.
Yeah.
So, like that. I wouldn't mess with makers, mainly because as bourbons go, it's still good bourbon, obviously. But I don't think it's anything special. It's just great marketing. But the Maker's 46 is good. Mm-hmm. Apparently, all of the Makers is off the same mash formula. It's just tweaked and aged differently.
Right.
But that 46 is pretty good. And I got a couple of others.
And of course, we can't go wrong with 1792. Always a long time
yes,
favorite.
Yes, small batch. Yes, is generally what we've gotten. Yeah, of course the Woodford double oaked or regular Woodford.
Yeah,
Basil Hayden too. I mean,
and Basil Hayden. Yes, that's one of my go-tos right now. It's one of my all-time favorites.
If you ask me for my favorite, it would be that.
Yeah, another really, really good one that I like, Russell Reserve 10 year.
Yes,
we've had that. My daughter gave me some of that, and we polished that off pretty quickly.
Yeah. Of the Larceny.
Was Larceny was good. That's right.
We got that at Meinrand, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
The Michters that you first got.
Yeah, so there's
that is a really good bourbon. Now, again, that one's a little bit pricier than we normally go. We generally don't go into the $40 range too much because, let's face it, we got kids in Catholic schools and in college, and
I still got both of them in my house.
Yes, well, one is moving out soon.
Yes, Ivar will soon be going out on his own.
Not far. But he will be on his own.
But he'll be on his own,
which is phenomenal. I applaud that very much.
We all work for that.
Yes. I have one still at home. Mrs. Robert used to get all misty-eyed at the thought of her baby going off to college. Now she's talking about all the wonderful things we could do if we were empty nesters. And not that she doesn't want. Not that she wants her baby boy to leave the house, but
she does.
There are times when. I want to give the boy and the mother-in-law $20 to go see a movie. I don't care what you just go somewhere and spend that $20 and be gone for a few hours.
Yeah.
Just leave the two of us here alone.
Yeah.
And call before you come back.
If the house be rocking, don't come knocking. That's right.
Yes. I recently told Bjorn the same thing. We'll get you out of here. I'm declaring every day is no pants day.
That's right. So you better call before you come over. Because nothing worse than accidentally coming across your mom and dad wearing no pants.
So, I'll let you take over, sir.
So,
I'm usurping.
Yeah, that's quite all right. It's a Hoopajoob. It's a Hoopajoob. We can go anywhere we want. a good episode. We got more out of this than I thought we would, because I thought we'd finish it up pretty quickly. But
it's time to go to dinner.
It's time to go to dinner. We are hungry.
We're hungry.
So we're doing the Mediterranean. Did we decide we're going to do the Mediterranean place?
That's what I'm going to suggest. We'll see what y'all think.
I'm okay with it. Well, we can do the game. You know what the game is, right?
No.
We do that with my former pastor. So we suggest a place. Somebody suggests a place.
Yes.
And anybody can veto. But if you veto, you have to suggest the replacement.
Oh,
I love
yes.
that.
Yes, you can't just
say no.
that. Yeah.
You have to suggest a replacement. So I used to game that game. So whenever our senior deacon was there, because he's older and he didn't always make it to all of the deacon nights. And whenever he was there, I would always suggest Chinese food. There's a really nice Chinese place on Hurstbourne Lane next to the Kroger's.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really good.
Yes.
Szechuan Garden.
Yes.
And it just recently reopened.
Yes.
For
good stuff.
dining in
Yes.
in the restaurant dining.
Yeah.
And he does not like Chinese. So I could get my suggestions out there and force somebody else to come up with something.
Yes, you're forcing the veto.
Yes, I'm forcing the veto. And if he decides not to veto, I win.
That's right.
So, yeah.
And you're forcing the decision onto someone else.
Exactly.
You should be in Congress, sir.
I know.
That's
well,
very...
I'd like to think my morals are a little better than that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a very Mitch McConnell style move of you.
Yeah. Well, when you move in church circles, you learn politics, man.
It's got to be a thing.
I don't want to talk about anything for 50 minutes.
That's right.
Church politics, bourbon, whatever.
That's right. So, Francis, buddy, what's next?
Palate cleanse, guys.
No treaties.
No treaties.
We are done with our treaties,
We're
aren't
done
we?
with our treaties.
Okay.
Absolutely. We've kind of finished that mini-series, shall we say? So
Okay,
it's a palate
sure.
cleanse. It's going to be a history, of course. We've done occasional election issues.
Yeah.
We're going to do another one next time. And Martin, I think you're the one that suggested
Yes,
this.
because, I mean, we do these troubled elections.
Yeah.
We've punted this one several times.
This is kind of the big daddy of troubled elections.
Yeah, this is the original Mac Daddy of them.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
1876.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one, the Civil War is
I mean,
over,
even
Ulysses S.
kinda-
Grant is gone.
yeah.
Now what do we do?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be talking about
Yes.
next episode.
Hope you enjoyed another pointless discussion of eternal questions. Remember, new episodes published every Friday at noon Eastern.
Spread the word. We're on all the major podcast platforms. And leave us a comment or review, because that helps others find us.
We're on Instagram, Twitter, as well as our website, snakesandotters.com.
I'm Martin.
And I'm Robert.
And I'm Francis. Join us next week, same snake time, same otter channel.